Welcome to TLS Talks Radio, where your host, Dr. Terrell Strayhorn, also known as the People's Professor, curates courageous conversations and promotes positive points of view each episode, just as he does each week for TLS Talks podcast, airing every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern on YouTube, Spotify, and internet radio. This ain't just a radio show. It's real talk for real life radio style. Woo! TLS Talks Radio. Turn it up and let it flow. Purpose, wellness, love, and life. Words that heal and light the night. Real conversations, voice strong. A place where everybody belongs. Hope and wisdom, heart and soul. Helping people live more whole. TLS Talks Radio. Real talk everywhere you go. Life, love, purpose, let it show. With the People's Professor on the radio. TLS Talks Radio. Come be inspired, learn and grow. Courageous voices, positive life. Real talk, real life, radio style. TLS Talks Radio. Powered by Mixler.
Welcome, and glad to have you here, live from the studio and streaming wherever real people are living real lives. This is TLS Talks Radio. Let me begin with an observation. We're living in a time when people have more information than ever, but less certainty. And we have more ways to communicate than you can count, but many people still feel unheard. We have technology designed to save us time, but seems like everybody seems exhausted. And we have AI, or artificial intelligence, that can write the email, summarize the meeting, organize the calendar, and even help us find a job. But now millions of people are wondering whether the same technology that helps them do their work might eventually replace them at work. And then, after carrying all of that anxiety all day long, we go home, pick up our phone, scroll through everybody else's highlight reel, and ask ourselves why our lives do not seem to be moving quickly enough. That is a lot for the human spirit to carry. So, this new platform is a space where we can slow the noise down, ask better questions, examine what's happening in the world, and quite frankly, talk honestly about what it means to live our lives. This is not a space where everybody has to agree, but it is a space where everybody should be able to think and learn, laugh, grow, and perhaps see an old issue from a new point of view. We will talk about work, we will talk about wellness, we'll talk about love, leadership, purpose, relationships, education, culture, faith, religion, belonging, and all those things that make people go, because sometimes the issue keeping you awake at night does not need another motivational quote. Sometimes it just needs a courageous conversation. I'm Dr. Terrell Strayhorn, also known as the People's Professor, and this is the very first live broadcast of a brand new experience. Welcome, friends, to TLS Talks Radio. Real talk, real life, real radio. So let me begin with something.
You're listening to
very much in the headlines and very much on people's minds: artificial intelligence and job security. Here's the strange tension. Employers are telling workers, learn AI, use AI, become more efficient with AI. But some of those same workers are looking at layoffs and hiring freezes, automated systems, shrinking departments, and job descriptions that seem to change every 6 months. And they're asking, am I being trained to work with AI, or am I training AI to work without me? That's not paranoia to me. See, that's real psychological, and it's a powerful organizational question. One that I think we have to consider. You know, recent reporting has found that concern about AI making jobs obsolete has become a major source of worker anxiety, even while overall layoffs remain relatively limited. In other words, the emotional fear may currently be spreading faster than the actual displacement. People are fearing far more about AI than actually is happening in workplaces. But fear still affects morale, it affects trust, it affects concentration, and it affects decision making. And so this is where I think belonging enters the conversation. A person can have a job and still feel occupationally homeless. They're on the payroll, but they no longer really understand their place. They might attend meetings, but key decisions are being made somewhere else without their input. And they're told that innovation is coming or that it's celebrated, but nobody explains how their experience, wisdom, or role fits both now or in the future. And so they feel silenced, invisible, irrelevant, paid, but displaced. On the roster, but erased. And when employees do not know whether they still matter, they begin to protect themselves. They stop offering new ideas. Why? Because you're not going to take my idea and run with it without me. They protect their ideas. They stop admitting what they know and certainly stop admitting what they do not know. And that can lead to error and all sorts of experimentation. They stop asking questions. They quietly update their resumes while quietly resigning in their seats. Or they remain physically present, though emotionally, psychologically, and professionally withdrawing. People do not resist change merely because they dislike change. Sometimes they resist change because nobody has shown them that there will still be a place for them after the change. They'll resist the new policy or resist the new technology or resist the new client production line. Not because they don't like the product line, not because they don't want more clients, not because they don't think it can work, but because no one, especially those in leadership, haven't really done the hard job, the hard work of helping them know that even after this technology is in place or after this policy is made more efficient or after we remove these pieces, that there'll still be a place for you at the table, on the team, on the payroll. That's why leaders cannot introduce AI as simply a technology product. It's also a trust project, communication project, a learning project, and as I call it, a belonging project. Research published in 2026 found that psychological safety was associated with whether employees initially adopted workplace AI tools. Said differently, they were more likely to adopt workplace tools that are powered through artificial intelligence when they felt safe psychologically at work. That makes sense. People are more willing to experiment when they know that asking questions or making mistakes or, as my president often says, failing forward, even admitting uncertainty, will never be used against them. But the only people who can really affirm that are leaders, managers, team coordinators, and certainly coworker to coworker. So let me offer 3 truths for anybody worried about AI in the future of work. Truth number 1, don't confuse your current task with your total value. A machine may eventually perform one of your tasks faster. That doesn't mean it can replace your judgment, your relationships, your empathy, your credibility, your context, your creativity, your moral and critical reasoning, as well as your lived experience. AI may be able to execute the task quicker, faster, with fewer errors. But it will never be able to replace the human side of our work: judgment, creativity, placing it in context, expressing empathy, giving grace, those lived experience kinds of moments. Truth number 2, refusing to learn the technology will not protect you from it. Some people think that if I just ignore AI or pretend that I can't learn it or refuse to learn it and don't go to the trainings or complete the trainings, that I'll protect myself from being replaced by it. Curiosity is a better defense than denial. Learn what the tool does. Learn what it does well. Learn what it does poorly. Learn where human review, human involvement, human activity, and human judgment is essential, so that can then create a roadmap, a run of show, a playbook, as it were, of how you can work with the technology in your role, even in the future. Truth number 3, efficiency should create capacity, not merely more work. I was driving down the street one day and I saw at a restaurant on the sign, it said, "The reward for good work is more work." Well, that's a pretty popular phrase, but let me just say this. Efficiency or productivity should create more capacity, more opportunity, more excitement, not merely more work. If AI saves a worker 4 hours, but the organization or the employer immediately fills those 4 hours with 8 additional tasks, that is not deliberation or liberation. It's accelerated exhaustion. If AI saves you time, then the organization should reward that efficiency by providing the employee greater flexibility, liberation, space, thinking time, creative time, but not more work. Every tool that increases productivity should also create a conversation about humanity, because faster is not always better. More is not always meaningful, and efficient is not the same as humane. So, leaders, here are 3 questions that your employees may be afraid to ask you, especially if you're using AI and thinking about the future of work. 1, what work will AI change in this organization? 2, who gets trained and who gets left behind? 3, will increased efficiency benefit employees or only lead to more work and reduce headcount? The American workplace is also navigating AI regulation, all the algorithmic bias that's used on YouTube and other platforms to determine what shows up in your feed and what profiles show up and what click rates count and what viewership counts. All of that's going on right now. So the workplace is navigating AI regulation, these algorithmic bias, worker surveillance, piracy and privacy, pay transparency, remote work rules, and even expanding mental health accommodation requests. These are no longer futuristic questions. They are current leadership responsibilities. A good leader does not merely announce change. I think a good leader translates change. So a good leader tells people what's changing and why it's changing, what is not changing, what skills will be needed, how people will be supported and rewarded, as well as how employee concerns will influence implementation of this new innovation or change. Because communication without participation can still feel like control. So what we need are good leaders who will translate change into practice in a way that keeps the people at the center. So let me ask those who are listening live, a couple of questions. What is your greatest concern about AI? Yep. What is your latest and newest, greatest concern about AI? Is it job replacement, that AI will replace you or replace your job? Is it issues of privacy? Is it issues of bias where and using AI that it would slightly overperform and over depend on certain trends and patterns that might lead to bias in the output or bias in the writing or bias in how it responds to certain situations in certain industries and contexts and times? Is it that becoming too dependent on it? I mean, people use AI in wildly, rapid numbers. The uptake and adoption of AI has been disruptive to society because so many people are using it. So what's your greatest concern? That you're becoming too dependent on it? You can't write the email, you can't write a text, you're constantly going to it? Or is it that we would lose our sort of human creativity and our capacity toward imagination and creativity and wonder? Or are you excited about what it can help you accomplish? Do me a favor. Drop your answer in the Mixlr chat. Complete the sentence: AI would make me feel safer if, and drop a few comments in the chat. I'm going to read a few of the answers when we return, if we've got some. If not, when you watch this episode, drop them in the chat. I'll make sure to incorporate them in both this show and future shows. Listen, you're listening to TLSTalks Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Terrell Strayhorn, the People's Professor, and we're going to pause for a quick break, and song will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to TLS Talks Radio, sponsored by Do Good Work Enterprises, helping people and organizations turn research, purpose, strategy, and belonging into measurable impact. Whether your organization needs an inspiring keynote, a leadership workshop, a culture and belonging assessment, executive coaching, or strategic consultation, Dr. Terrell Strayhorn and the Do Good Work team help leaders move from good intentions to meaningful action. Because good work is not simply what you produce. Good work is what changes because you showed up. Learn more at TerrellStrayhorn.com. Real talk, real life, real radio. TLS Talks Radio. Real talk everywhere you go. Life, love, purpose, let it show. With the People's Professor on the radio. TLS Talks Radio. Come be inspired, learn and grow. Courageous voices, positive light. Real talk, real life, radio style. TLS Talks Radio, powered by Mixlr.
1,000 names inside my phone. Still I walk these streets alone. Crowded rooms, empty heart, smiling faces miles apart. Every picture looked like home, but somehow I still felt unknown. Everybody saw my smile, nobody stayed a while. Maybe the miracle I've searched for was never one more follower. Maybe love begins the moment someone learns my story and stays. Somebody knows my name, not just my face. Somebody notices when I'm missing from this place. Not because I earned it, oh, not because I'm strong, classroom, an office, a church pew, crowded train. We pass 1,000 souls each day, pretending we're okay. Maybe heaven isn't louder, maybe heaven sounds like this. I saw you hurting yesterday. Can I sit with you? We don't need another screen, we need another seat. Pull somebody closer, let compassion speak. Every heart is searching, every soul the same. Sometimes healing starts when someone calls your name. Somebody knows my name, somebody knows my heart. Love keeps showing up long before the healing starts. If we're all somebody's answer, yeah. If we're all somebody's life, then maybe belonging is how we save a life. Ooh, you are seen, you are loved, you are loved, you belong.
Woke up this morning with a song in my chest. You kept my feet moving, you gave me rest. When my road got heavy, you made a way. I'm standing right here, and I've got to say,
Every breath I'm breathing,
every step I take,
every door you open.
every chain you break,
I was lost and lonely.
now my heart can sing.
Look what mercy found me.
Look what joy you bring.
Thank you, Jesus.
Woo! For blessing me.
Thank you, Jesus.
Woo! You set me free. Hey!
Thank you, Jesus.
I've got victory. Hey!
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey!
Thank you, Jesus.
My table stayed full, even through the fire. You turned my midnight into higher and higher. My tears fell down, but they didn't stay. You wiped my sorrow and you made new day. Hey.
Every breath I'm breathing,
Every step I take,
every door you open.
every chain you break,
I was lost and lonely.
now my heart can sing.
Look what mercy found me.
Look what joy you bring.
Thank you, Jesus.
For blessing me.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey, you set me free.
Thank you, Jesus.
I've got victory. Hey,
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
you kept me.
When I could not see,
You lifted me.
and you carried me,
You healed me.
you strengthened me.
Now I'm shouting in the family. Oh, I remember where you brought me from. I remember what you brought me through. And if I had 10,000 tongues, I'd still be saying, Lord, thank you. Thank you for the roof. Thank you for the breath. Thank you for the mercy that met me left and right. Somebody ought to clap right now. Somebody ought to sing right now. Because the Lord has been good.
Alrighty. Welcome back. You're listening to TLSTalks Radio, powered by Mixler. That's real talk, real life. Yes, friends, real radio. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed those two songs. And so I'm going to get back into some of the things we were talking about. A recent online debate centered on an employee who reportedly resigned after a manager rejected their request for anxiety-related leave. So you've got a situation where an employee submits a request for a mental health day. And mental health at work, I'm really trying to wrestle with this. Is it an act of compassion, or is this about accountability, or is it both? So when this employee submitted a request for mental health or anxiety-related leave, their manager rejected it and said that they could not have that time off. And as social media tends to do, the internet quickly divided itself into teams. One side said something like, mental health is health. The manager should have demonstrated compassion and approved that request. Another side said employees still have responsibilities and you can't abandon your job every time work becomes stressful and you just need some leave. I don't know how you feel, but to me, perhaps the most useful question is not which side are you on? The mental health is health, and so the manager should have approved, or people have responsibilities at work and you can't abandon or abuse this policy, therefore the rejection was justified. Perhaps the more useful question is, why are compassion, mental health is health, and accountability, people have duties and responsibilities, therefore they must fulfill them, always presented as opposites at work? I think this particular episode became part of a larger public debate about workplace mental health and generational expectations, management communication, and professional responsibility. Because ultimately, what I think we need is better language here. Not every difficult day is a mental health emergency. That's no slam or shade to mental health. Mental health is important. Mental health and wellness is important. It's critical. I know this as an educator, as a psychologist, as a podcaster, as a human. But not every mental health concern is laziness or weakness or avoidance either. There's a difference between feeling uncomfortable and being unsafe, between feeling nervous and being unable to function because of one's nervousness, needing encouragement and needing clinical support, employees wanting flexibility and then those requiring a accommodation, especially a federal accommodation through Title IX or some federal disabilities act. Good workplace culture makes it possible to discuss these distinctions, I think, without humiliation. In fact, in my forthcoming book on workplace belonging, I argue that a healthy workplace does not remove every demand. It just gives people the support and clarity and dignity needed to meet reasonable demands without destroying themselves. So you can still have a healthy workplace, managers, team coordinators, CEOs, and executives with expectations, demands, duties, and accountability, right? It's just that when you give people certain jobs to do and certain work to do and place certain expectations, you also then match it by providing the support that they need, the clarity of instructions and expectations, and the dignity needed to meet those demands without having to destroy themselves. A healthy workplace would never have to diminish or reduce its expectations or its demands or its rigor but it should also not require people to dim their lights for others to shine, to play small so that others can feel big, to change their name or their dialect in order to be a part of the team. Psychological safety is required. But psychological safety does not mean that no one's corrected. You can have psychological safety even while people are corrected, modified, called in versus called out about their behaviors that create an unhealthy, unproductive, unsupportive work environment for others. Belonging does not mean that no one's held accountable. This is not about Skittles and rainbows, high fives and hugs. Belonging is about creating spaces where people feel supported, cared about, seen, heard, loved, respected, while living up to the expectations of their job and their duties. Requires empathy too. Now, empathy does not mean every request can be granted exactly as presented. So just because you have an empathetic workplace or you're practicing empathy or you're giving grace doesn't mean that every single request for having time off is approved, or every single request for a meeting is scheduled, or that every single request for support, whether that's financial or human or otherwise, is met with a dispensation of resources. You can say no, you can decline the meeting invitation, and you can decline the request for time off and still have a healthy, productive, and empathetic workplace. But what it means is that the person is at all times treated as a human being, while the problem or issue is still being addressed. So, employees, when you need help, here's my advice: try to communicate in ways that give your supervisor something that's workable, something they can work with, something they can do. Rather than just saying, I cannot do this, consider, here is what I'm experiencing at work. And you're having difficulty with certain colleagues, or you're being shut out of meetings or not being invited into the place. Here's what I'm experiencing, might be a phrase you want to use. Here is how it is affecting my work. So here's what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing migraine headaches because of the volume, or because of the noise, or because of the light, or I'm experiencing social isolation and anxiety because my colleagues keep excluding me from the production line or from the conversation. And here's how it's affecting my work. It's causing me to lose my energy or to drain my cognitive bandwidth so I can't focus. I'm losing focus. I'm losing productivity. I'm losing energy throughout the day. It's causing my morale to go low. Put some words to it. Put some name to it of how it's affecting you and your work. And then you might add, here's what I need today. Here's what I need from you as my supervisor. Here's what I need from you as my employer. I need a place where I can come and I can feel seen, heard, cared about, respected, right? Here's what I believe I can complete. That because of this anxiety that is negatively impacting my focus and stealing my joy and keeping me from being as productive as I want, what I need today is some time off. Now, in terms of what I can complete, I believe I can get A and B. I can get the report done. I can go ahead and create the communications for the next campaign. I can go ahead and reach out to these 5 clients and go ahead and issue their invoices. But I'll need support after that, because once I take this time off, I'll need someone else to handle the next 5. Or you could try, here is when I can follow up. So these phrases may be useful to you when having conversations with your employer about your needs at work. And so you might use them. I'm going to put them in the chat for you, for those who want to check those out. All right. So you don't have to disclose every private detail, of course, but clarity certainly helps other people respond responsibly. And whenever the situation is serious or ongoing, I think you want to use the appropriate human resources and medical leave, employee assistance, accommodation process, FMLA, Family Medical Leave, I think that's what it's called, Federal Medical Leave Act, rather than relying solely on an informal text exchange with the manager. So if you're talking about just something that's popped up in the day, popped up over a couple of days, it's not going to be a major disruption to your work life, your workflow, your work, then I think you can have that conversation over text, have that conversation over email or over the phone. But if it's going to be something much more ongoing or serious, then I would encourage you to use the appropriate resources through HR and others to grant or seek those accommodations. So now I've talked a little bit to, employees, and I've talked a little bit to leaders about the questions that people might not want to ask. Let me talk for a moment to managers. Managers, I think your first response sets the emotional temperature. Whatever you say is going to set the temperature for how this is going to go. And it could either go well or it could go relatively poorly, depending on what the nature of that first response is, right? So you might say, thank you for telling me about your medical issue or about your problem, challenge. I want to understand what support you're requesting and what we need to address regarding today's responsibilities. Just notice what that sentence might do. It acknowledges the person and the work. So it says, thank you for telling me. I understand what support you're requesting, what you need, and I want to talk to you about what we need to address today's responsibility. It doesn't diagnose. It doesn't dismiss. It doesn't promise something the manager can't authorize. It just opens the door for a responsible conversation. I think leaders have to be trained in this way. We cannot tell managers to care about mental health, but then give them no guidance or coaching or advice about accommodations, privacy, emergency, documentation, workload, and available resources. This is why me and my team at Do Good Work often will work with our clients through our executive coaching or our leadership coaching, our staff workshops and training to make sure that leaders, managers, team coordinators, directors, assistant directors are informed about federal accommodations, about issues of privacy and why they wouldn't disclose or share that information beyond that, and how to manage it when it comes in through text or comes in through email, how to deal with emergencies and request documentation while working alongside existing resources in HR and talent management. So do not demand, sort of emotionally intelligent leadership from people you have only trained to approve timesheets. I think that's the greatest challenge that some employing organizations make. They expect emotionally intelligent leadership from people who they haven't prepared to be emotionally intelligent leaders. And so what that simply does is it seems to imply that emotional intelligence is something that one could easily pick up, doesn't require training or education, preparation, and nothing could be further from the truth. Emotionally intelligent leadership requires work. It requires effort and training. So, here's today's thing that makes you go, question. Should employers provide a limited number of mental health days that employees can use without explaining or defending the reason? Yes or no, or it depends. I want you to put your comment in the chat across various platforms, both the new platform, Mixler.com, internet radio, as well as on our existing channels, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X. Put it in the chat. Should employers provide a limited number of mental health days that employees can use without explaining or defending the reason? What that would mean is people could use mental health days without having to ask for them. You know, you could imagine you get a salary, you get health benefits. Your health benefits include dental and eye and medical insurance, but it would also include, let's just say, for example, 10 mental health days or 5 mental health days in addition to your leave. What do y'all think? Is that the way we want to go? Or do you think it should be something else? Yes, no, or it depends. Put it in the chat. For those who know how to dial into the show, you can text into the show or you can dial into the show so I can hear you live here in the studio. I want you to use that number and tell us what you think. Yes, no, or it depends. How employers might be dealing with leave, especially mental health leave, going forward. All right. So, for those of you who don't know that number, if you want to text the number, text your answer into the studio. You can text at 713-496-2717. You can text or call in live to the show at 713-496-2717, or put your comment in the chat where you are and tell us why. I want to see some of those responses coming in. All right. So let's now segue. We've talked a bit about another segment in the show, and that is to really get to the fun fact of the day. One of the fun facts of the day is that the workplace is changing. It's changing dramatically, it's changing rapidly, and there are many fast-growing jobs. And I want to talk a little bit about what they pay in these jobs, as well as what it takes to get the jobs. I think all of that is going to be important to discuss, especially as an extension of what we discuss in the TLS Talks podcast, which is each Saturday, and I'll talk about this a little bit later too, each Saturday. So Here are some of the fastest growing occupations in the United States. And the question is, do all of them require a 4-year degree? I think that is an interesting question, and one that may or may not be front of mind for all people, but we do have to think about it. So, what are some of the fastest growing occupations in the United States? And do all of them require a 4-year degree? Of course, the spoiler is no, they don't. That these are the fastest growing occupations, and we got to talk about it because they're discussed in the latest available Bureau of Labor Statistics projections from 2024 through 2034. These salaries are national medians. They're not guaranteed starting salaries, folks, but pay and requirements can vary, of course, by employer, location, rules, and all sorts of experience. But let's get into it. Top 10 jobs of 2024 to 2034 as of now include 1, physician assistants, be a PA. It's projected there'll be about a 20% job growth in this particular field. On average, the median pay is $133,000 a year. Typical qualifications include a master's degree from an accredited physician assistant program, clinical training, and state licensure. Listen, this is high pay, strong projected growth, but this is not a quick certificate. It requires significant graduate level medical preparation and a master's program, and maybe even at the doctoral level if you want to. Physician's assistant, anybody out there who's looking for a way to get into the top 10 fastest growing jobs. One of them, number 10, coming in, physician assistants. Number 9, operations research analyst. This is projected job growth of 21%, making about a $91,000 salary median per year. And the typical qualification is usually a bachelor's degree in operations research, math analytics, engineering, computer science, or related sort of discipline. So for all those STEM majors out there who are looking for one of those top 10 jobs, consider operations research analysts. These are the people who use data and mathematical models to help organizations make better decisions. Number 8, an actuary. All right, that's a term most people don't think about, but an actuary is a job that's on the horizon. About a 22% projected growth in that job. Median pay of $125,000 per year. Typical qualifications: a bachelor's degree, strong math and statistics preparation, plus a sequence of professional actuarial examinations. So if you're going to be an actuary, you got to take the exam. This career pays well, but you have to make pace with math. All right, number 7, coming in as physical therapist assistants, a PTA. That is projected job growth of 22%, median annual pay of $65,000. The typical qualifications are an accredited associate's degree or required state license or certification. And here's an example of a growing healthcare career that generally does not require a bachelor's degree. Most people who want to go into healthcare often complain, oh my gosh, I got to have a bachelor's degree to be a nurse, to be a clinical assistant. Well, this one does not require. You can make $65,000, almost $70,000 a year as a physical therapist assistant, but you do have to go and get the accredited associate's degree or the required state license or certification. Check your state's requirement for that PTA, physical therapist assistant. Number 6, medical and human services manager. This is over almost a quarter projected growth over the next 10 years. Annual salary coming in at about $118,000 a year. Typical qualification is usually a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, business management, or related field. And interestingly, many of these positions also require that you have some healthcare experience. So for those folks out there who have a degree or you're willing to go back to school, you got some healthcare experience, you're looking to upskill, uptool, move up in the workplace, medical and human services manager. Go to monster.com or your favorite job page, type that in, medical and human services manager. Check it out. This is a strong option for people who are interested in healthcare leadership, but don't want to be a physician. They don't want to be a nurse. They don't want to be a hotel administrator, or hospital administrator, medical and health services manager. All right. Number 5, information security analyst. This is 29% projected growth over the next 10 years. Median salary up into the 124s, 124,000. Typical qualification is usually a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, information technology, computer science, or related field, although experience and recognized certifications can also be important. As long as organizations have data, systems, hacker, and human error, we will always need cybersecurity professionals to do their important work. So if you have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, an associate's degree in cybersecurity, or you're interested in going back to school, and cybersecurity is a booming field with lots of opportunity in terms of scholarships and grants and dollars, then go and think about looking at being a cybersecurity, information security analyst. That's number 5. All right, we're getting down to the last 4 of the top 10 fastest growing jobs right now. 4, data scientists. Projected growth of 34%, 112,000 per year. Typical qualification, usually it's a bachelor's degree, friends, in data science, statistics, mathematics, computer science, or related field. Some of them require for you to go to graduate education, get a master's, even get a doctorate. Data scientists do more than build charts. They identify patterns and test models and help organizations decide what the numbers actually mean. 3, nurse practitioner, LPNs, licensed practitioner. Nurse practitioner, NPs, let's go with that. 40% projected job growth. You're looking at 129,000 or more in median pay per year. Typical qualification is a RN, registered nurse preparation, graduate level advanced practice education, a national certification, and quite frankly, often a state licensure passing. This is one of the highest growth occupations right now, but it requires substantial nursing and graduate school pathways. But if you want a job that is growing fast, it's booming at the seams, it's got a lot of growth opportunity, which means there's likely going to be a lot of opportunity for you to move up and advance once you're in the career. That means you can make more money, you can stay in your career, you can love your profession, and have numerous opportunities for leadership and growth. Look at nurse practitioner. That's number 3. Number 2. Solar photovoltaic installer. Solar installer. Believe it or not, folks, this is a 42% projected growth. We're looking at about $52,000 a year. Typically, high school diploma followed by some technical instruction, something at a technical school or some extensive on-the-job training. But solar installer is a major booming field right now in the U.S. No traditional 4-year degree is normally required because most of those wouldn't prepare you for this particular suite of skills and technical work that you'll be doing. But the work is connected to expanding our solar energy infrastructure. And you know there's a lot of talk going on right now about the solar system, about the energy, about new renewable energies. And so we need solar installers out there. And if you're looking for a job that'll go and grow with you, think about that. Number 2, solar installer. Last and certainly not least, wind turbine service technician. Believe it or not, 50% projected growth. Talking about 63,000. That's actually 62,580 per year. Typical qualification is usually post-secondary. That's college technical training, extensive employer training, comfort with heights, mechanical skill, and rigorous safety preparation. So if you're not going to go get the bachelor's degree, you'll get an associate's degree. If you don't get the associate's degree, you'll get some stackable credential, micro credential, or certification through a technical school to be a wind turbine service technician. It's one of the fastest growing occupations on the list. Doesn't require a bachelor's degree, but you cannot be afraid of heights to do this job. All right, so here's the larger lesson for this. I want us to stop asking only what's the hottest job, but maybe a better question or set of questions would be, what job is right for me? Does the work fit my abilities? Can I tolerate the work environment and the work demands? What education or licensing is required? And how much will training cost me? Is the salary strong where I live? And is it growable, increasable? Or does it advance and expand with time? Are there opportunities for leadership and advancement? Will I still find the work meaningful in 5 to 10 years after the trend changes? These are the questions that you want to ask yourself. A high growth job that violates your values, your health, or your natural strengths can become a high paying trap. And remember, of all of these jobs that are created, many of them provide opportunities for applying transferable skills for those who are changing jobs, changing industries, or changing careers midlife or at any point in life. So just because you may not do that work today doesn't mean you can never do it. So I want you to make sure that you check it out. Now listen, we've talked about AI, we've talked about job insecurity, mental health, accountability, and some of America's fastest growing careers. That's a lot to hold, so let's take a break, reset the room, and enjoy a little music. You're listening to TLSTalks Radio. Alrighty, welcome back. TLSTalks Radio. Here's what we're going to do as we wind down this segment is I want to make sure we talk about what do we carry forward. As we begin to wind down, and I want to leave you with a few thoughts to close out the first inaugural episode of TLS Talks Radio, part of the TLS Talks suite, sponsored through Do Good Work Enterprises, and certainly part of the Do Good Work podcast that appears each and every week. So this won't replace the podcast, just be an addition to it for those who like the radio. And we'll probably have a different time, obviously, than the podcast. And so I'm excited about it. But as we begin to wind down, let me leave you with a few thoughts. Technology is changing. Work is changing. People often ask the question, will AI take my job? Archbishop E. Bernard Jordan is one who I credit for saying that AI may not take your job, although it may be able to do certain tasks more quickly, more efficiently, and it may take those tasks from you. But a person who's trained in using AI may take your job. So though the tool won't do it on its own, the person who knows how to use the tool well could. So for all of those in the listening audience, those who will watch later, I think the takeaway is learn how to use AI. I posted some AI videos on my YouTube channel today. You can find me at youtube.com/ at Terrell Strayhorn, or go to YouTube in the search bar, type Terrell Strayhorn, pull up the TLS channel, click subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you're aware of whenever we go live, but also then go to today's videos and look at those videos that talk about using AI to find a job, using AI to investigate or study the work culture of a place where you might be considering a job. All of those videos that are posted on YouTube are also now posted on TikTok, and you can use any of these platforms to access the materials. I'm trying to get as much out there to help as many people as possible. But listen, technology is changing, work is changing, expectations are changing, but some human needs remain remarkably consistent. People still want to know, do I matter? Am I safe? Am I, free enough to tell the truth? Is this space for me? Is there room for me to grow? Can I succeed here without having to lose myself or dim my lights? Is anybody paying attention to what is happening to me? Those are human questions. Those are belonging questions. And whether we are discussing artificial intelligence, workplace anxiety, relationships, leadership, or careers, the deeper question is often the same. And that is, where do I fit? Where do I belong? And must I become someone else to thrive here? Growth is important, so too is maturity. And we've already named it, so too is accountability. So we need workplaces, workspaces, homes, churches, communities, and neighborhoods where all of these can come together. But growth should not require you to erase yourself. And accountability should never require us as leaders, managers, supervisors to eliminate compassion. A meaningful life is not built by avoiding every single difficult conversation. A meaningful life is built by learning how to enter difficult conversations without abandoning truth, dignity, love, grace, forgiveness, or yourself. And I posted about forgiveness today. It's one of those powerful things that I think we often underestimate its impact, that simply apologizing and owning our stuff can open up powerful doors to belonging, to community, connection, reconnection, friendship, loveship, churchship, friendship, partnership, leadership. But it starts first with creating a space where you can be yourself, where you can belong, and belong just the way you are. Before we close, I want to ask you to mark your calendars for this Saturday. Say it with me, this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. That is USA time. We got a brand new episode of TLS Talks podcast coming your way with my special guest, Sam Leeson. Sam brings years of experience helping individuals and couples confront a difficult truth, and that is sometimes the obstacle beneath our repeated conflicts or our stalled relationships or our poor choices and inability to move forward is not lack of intelligence. It's lack of opportunity. And so Sam is a coach with extensive work in really helping couples start families and deal with some of the trauma of their past and get emotionally unstuck. And we're going to talk about it on the episode this Saturday, how these unresolved patterns with the work that she's seen in marriage and relationships and family beginning and all of that come together. You don't want to miss it. Saturday, 12 noon Eastern, TLS Talk, Sam Leeson. I suspect this conversation will step in a direction that many of you will enjoy. And hopefully it will also help some people heal their heart and find hope. Join us on Saturday at 12 noon Eastern, TLS Talks with Sam Leeson. It's real talk for real life. You can watch it on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, listen through any of our audio platforms, and we will be using TLS Talks Radio for additional commentary and special programming after Saturday's episode. And while you're thinking about it, open YouTube and go and search for Terrell Strayhorn or TLS Talks. Hit the subscribe button for me and turn on the notification bell so YouTube lets you know when we go live or release a new episode. Subscribing may feel like a small action, but listen, friends, it helps the channel reach more people who need thoughtful, uplifting, evidence-informed conversations. And you don't need the content just yourself, so don't keep it to yourself. Share the episode with a friend who's making a career decision, a leader who's trying to improve their workplace, a student who needs some encouragement, a couple who's working through conflict, somebody who's been feeling disconnected or alone and needs to know that they matter, they're enough, and they belong. Listen, people who are a part of the TLS Talks listening audience don't merely consume good content, they circulate good content. Somebody in your network needs to hear the very conversation that you are about to share. So share it, drop it in the family group chat, share it to some of your friends on social media, run to my pages, hit like and share on LinkedIn, like and share on Facebook, like and share on X. Please, sir, please, ma'am, and help me spread the TLS good news so that people can do good work. Well, family, we've reached the end of the inaugural live broadcast of TLS Talks Radio. And I am so thrilled to now know that we have this platform and that we can use it for so much. I'm going to be coming to you and often enjoying conversation. These 60-minute episodes are going to be a space for us. And what a joy it has been to build this new space with you. Today, we talked about the anxiety surrounding artificial intelligence, the future of work, mental health and accountability, careers that are growing, and the enduring human need to know that we matter. This station will continue to bring you real conversations about life, leadership, love, wellness, purpose, faith, belonging, and so much more. Some episodes, friends, are going to make you laugh, and some may challenge what you think. Some may give you language for something you felt but could never explain, and some, I hope, will remind you that you are not navigating life by yourself. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for helping this new vision come alive. I'm Dr. Terrell Strayhorn, the People's Professor, reminding you, ask the difficult question. Tell the compassionate truth. Don't just make room for yourself, but make room for somebody else. And wherever life places you, do good work. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of one another. This has been TLS Talks Radio, real talk, real life, real radio.
You're listening to TLS Talks Radio, sponsored by Do Good Work Enterprises, helping people and organizations turn research, purpose, strategy, and belonging into measurable impact. Whether your organization needs an inspiring keynote, a leadership workshop, a culture and belonging assessment, executive coaching, or strategic consultation, Dr. Terrell Strayhorn and the Do Good Work team help leaders move from good intentions to meaningful action. Because good work is not simply what you produce. Good work is what changes because you showed up. Learn more at TerrellStrayhorn.com. Real talk, real life, real radio. TLS Talks Radio. Real talk everywhere you go. Life, love, purpose, let it show. With the People's Professor on the radio. TLS Talks Radio. Come be inspired, learn and grow. Courageous voices, positive life. Real talk, real life, radio style. TLS Talks Radio, powered by Mixler.